We've got a new set of triggers in LD21 that allow you to, well, trigger your actions when a user scrolls in and out of view, right? When a user scrolls an object in and out of view on the screen. Basically, it's pretty simple, right? As you can see, this page that I've got here, I've got a few actions tied to it, and as normal, right? I've got a set of triggers. This one particularly is set to scroll out of view. We also have a scroll into view. We have some actions that are associated with it and a target that's associated with it. Exact same actions you're used to, exact same method of targeting that you're used to, but now instead of click or on show or something like that, you can trigger those actions to occur, whatever action you want, when the user moves the screen up and down and an object moves in and out of view, okay? Really, really, really simple stuff in theory, but really, really practical and very powerful in practice, and it makes for a much more dynamic course than you might otherwise get. One kind of little detail you'll notice about this sample that I'm going to show here is that it's not a standard format Lectora course. I'm going to preview it here so you can actually see what works in just a second, but you'll notice that this is done in kind of an atypical format. Remember that Lectora allows you to build a course in whatever size, shape you want. You're not stuck to a typical desktop configuration. You're not stuck to a standard slide view style course. You can build something a lot more like a modern web experience in Lectora than you might realize. And these particular triggers that I'm going to cover today are super useful in those types of situations where you have a longer page with a lot of content that the user needs to, digest. These go particularly well in there, right? And since that kind of modern single page, scrolling course is pretty hot in e-learning right now, I find this to be a really, really, really great addition. So that's what this is, right? This is a single page scrolling responsive course that takes advantage of these new triggers. As I scroll down the page, what you'll notice is certain things start to progressively move into and out of view, right? Okay, here I've got this new interaction that just popped up and my elements transitioned in as I moved down the page. I can interact just like I normally would. I've got nothing below it, but as I move up, we've got new content that reveals itself. Similarly, we've got another click to reveal down here. Now, in this particular example, we've applied these triggers in two ways. One that we're looking at right here, in conjunction with transitions on the page to create kind of a more sophisticated, webby, parallaxy, some people might say, kind of a feel to our course. But there's a lot more going on in this course, and there's a lot more you can do with those particular triggers than just trigger animations and entrances, right? So one of the other ways when this reloads that we used this scroll into and out of view on this particular scrolling course is to trigger a media object that's a little bit lower on the page. So as I'm scrolling down the page, you notice my video that I've got popped in here automatically starts. One of the concerns that a lot of IDs have about this type of build is they're like, well, I want to put video, I want to put media, things like that into my course, and how do I know that my user is going to interact with it? I've just got a single page. I'm not tracking page clicks. I'm not seeing that they completed anything necessarily in there. Well, this is kind of a good entry to that, and when added to a bunch of the other really cool and advanced features that we have in Lectora, well, you can kind of get there. We've just got a simple scroll into view action. As soon as this color block back below the video scrolls into view on the page, we automatically start playing this video to kind of force the user, or at least gently nudge them to pay attention to what's going on the screen. Now, in conjunction with the media sync events, you can really make sure that they watch this. Same thing with some of the timeline actions that we've got on the video by throwing other content out there. There's a lot that you can do with it, really, suffice to say, beyond just making your course pretty. If you have a particular section of a course, for instance, where, I don't know, you want to throw a message, right? So, hey, this is the knowledge check portion of my course. I'm going to go ahead and throw a message to my learner that says, hey, go out and grab, the ILT manual that relates to this particular presentation, read pages 24 to 26, come back here, press OK, and then answer this knowledge check. You can do that kind of thing really, really easily with these triggers, because again, they're just triggers to let you do the actions that you're already familiar with. I'm going to walk you through each of those just very rapidly so you can see how simple they are, and you can see hopefully how powerful they are just by looking at the dropdowns. Again, you set an action on an object, assign it instead of what you're used to with, show, hide, or click. We have scroll into or scroll out of view. Choose your action you actually want to do here, which is the same giant list you're used to, right? The same tons of things you can't always do. And then you choose any target object currently in that page, just like you're used to. In this particular example, right, just to give you an idea how it was working, when I first previewed it, as I scrolled down the page, my page title intro, this top object up here, as it moved off the screen, as it scrolled out of view, I did a series of actions. I released the quote icon here. I released my quote body content, the attribution, and the line below it. But I also hid the begin button that was up here ahead, because we know the user's already started moving. They've got past this point in the page. We can remove that from the screen. Okay. So very similarly, if I move down in my Project Explorer here and I look at what I've got going on this background color object that's right around my video here, I've just got an on scroll into view, play. And again, it's exactly what you would expect. Trigger, action, target object, just a more interesting, kind of a unique way to do this kind of thing, okay? So that's pretty simple. Again, I think it's pretty powerful in as much as it's a really convenient, really easy, and kind of a fun way for people like me to add a lot more, just those little details, right? To add a little bit of sophistication and make your course a little more dynamic than you might otherwise be able to do in other versions of this and other tools.